Well, welcome to my little last part of this review or building project for the Sarissa Precision Haye Sainte farm. These are almost all the buildings. Here's the buttery. Okay, just so you can see some of the details on that, brickwork and so on. You can see that I have, for instance, added, I can't remember, maybe I mentioned this in the previous video, a little roll along the top of the roof there for the ridge tiles. I've replaced the little square chimney pots with round pieces of plastic rod. So that's what I've done with that. Here's the main gate. There are the gates there. That's the back, that's the front. Here's the gate itself. Again, I've done that little roof thing. Just plastic rod, then painted it. Brickwork, painted a little bit. I've added embossed plastic card brick, heavy brickwork, and I've done that one. Yep, there's a little plastic rod angle along there. Glued it on, then just hand painted to look a bit like protective tiles. And that's what the other side of it looks like. Now, my purpose in buying this was to make it a diorama, and some of it is quite good. Maybe we could make this. See, it's got all different roofs. It's got like plain pan tiles. I think that's what they're called, with the ridge tiles and stuff. There's the wooden shingles. This is printed paper card, and then stuck on with the PVA glue. This is a different sort of, well, I think it's the same pan tile as this, but then I've given it a wash with the Vallejo wash, and I've painted little bricks and done a little bit of texturing and a little bit of moss growing in the corner there, and over here as well. Used extra thick acrylic paint for a sort of plasterwork effect. You could judge for yourselves how effective that could be. But that little bit perhaps would make a nice little diorama. It's just a little wall section. You can see painted each individual brick, at least a little bit. I wouldn't say I've gone to town on it, but I've done a bit. I've done shingles on this barn roof. I can't put all the buildings in the right order because they won't fit on my desk, unless I'd have to clear the whole desk. And here, over there, is the main farmhouse behind the stables. Let's move these out of the way. But by the way, if I haven't mentioned it in the previous video, I've painted these with a sort of wooden colour. Then I put chipping medium on, and then I painted over with blue, and then I've scratched off to make them look worn, or because I was going to do for a diorama to make them look a bit battle damaged. So that's what I was doing there. And the stables, you can see all the stable doors, same sort of treatment. The roofs, none of the roofs are actually glued on, so they're all removable. Okay, these ones are just the paper tiles just glued down, not washed or anything else. The gate of the main building there. Oh, the other cat meowing. I've painted. Oh, hello, you. Coming in to say hello. The chimney pots are painted black and then gone over them with some orangey red sort of brick color. That's that part of it. If I turn it round, that's the other side of the house. That's what that looks like. I can't put it far enough away. So you can see it all. That was a bit difficult. Right, anyway, done the chimney pots. Roof. This roof is slightly going to be different again. It's a slate roof. just to add variety, make it look a bit better. And obviously, of course, again, I've done all the embossed card along the bottom. Stop with my hand there because it's making it quite a focus. Like you can see here, this is just plastic card cut and just strips and stuck on and pinned it up. So let's do some conclusions about this. I bought this to make a diorama. I thought I might make a great big diorama of the Haye Sainte, the battle around that as part of the Battle of Waterloo, because it's right in the middle of the action. The fighting was near constant there for the whole day. And I do remember when I was a little kid seeing a magazine that had I believe it was the Haye Sainte anyway, from what I can remember, it's a very long time ago, diorama, and I thought that was just magnificent. And so I thought I'd try and do my own version of it. But this MDF Sarissa precision building, it's war games standard, I would say. That's not to put it down, but it's designed for war games, There's nothing wrong with it. It looks quite good. And it would look great on a war games table, as you can see, all the kits and everything in the house and all that sort of stuff. And it is accurate, of course. Well, I expect it's accurate. I haven't measured it or anything, but it looks like all the drawings and paintings I've seen of Haye Sainte at Waterloo. As a diorama, well, two things. It's far too big for me. I wouldn't be able to, I don't think. I could make a diorama of pieces of it, but not of the whole thing. So I'd have to abandon that sort of aspect of it. And also, probably it's not well detailed enough. It's okay, but yeah, I'm sure somebody else will have done, probably could have done. And maybe I could have done if I'd really gone to town, make a really good diorama out of it, but I think it'd be beyond me, beyond the scope of what I'm able to do, the time I've got, and so on. And so that's that. And yeah, the detail I think is just a little bit lacking. There's things like, for example, like corners. Now I've plastered all this with plaster, like stuff you get from a DIY shop, just to cover up all the edges and that. But I think I've done them all, and you can barely see. I don't know if there's one. Well, I'll show you this little tiny house again. This little buttery house. You can see the walls. There's no, well, there is like there. You can see the line of the join is still coming through a little tiny bit, but not much. Okay. So, and here you can see the plaster I've put over it. I probably could have done a better job of that, but I wanted it to look sort of rough and tumble, and I think that is how this little piece looks anyway. So whilst it was a brilliant project to work on, I really enjoyed doing it, splashing the paint about and the plaster and whatnot, chipping fluid, all that kind of stuff, scraping the doors off, putting all this card roofing material on. I used two different techniques on here. For example, you can see I've folded the card over, but as I progressed with the building, I adopted a slightly different technique. Let's see if I can show you with this one. You'll see here it's not folded over. So what I've done, I've used PVA glue to stick the paper roofing material on. Then I've put plenty of PVA glue on it, so it kind of adds a bit of strength to it. Then once it's dry, get a scalpel and literally saw all the, let's just see, have I got that scalpel? I used this scalpel and then just literally saw the paper away. And the paper's become a bit more resilient, stronger with the PVA glue. It cuts very nicely. Well, you can see how well it's done. And obviously this is my first attempt at one of these buildings. So it's can't be that difficult. If I was able to get a reasonable result on the first go. Same with these. And I think that's much better than the folded over technique, because that leads to problems of things not quite fitting exactly. Because the folded over paper does add a little, it changes the size of things, basically. One other thing I can mention, I use premium printer paper for like this one, and maybe some of the other ones as well. I can't remember exactly now. And it's a bit shiny, it's like photographic paper, and it did the job, but when I was folding it and bending it and so on, it tended to crack and sort of leave exposed marks. And well, you could see maybe here. I think this is premium paper. Well, let's lift that up. I'll show you. You'll see along here, like that's. It doesn't matter too much because you can always paint it or cover it with a wash or whatever. But you'll see here it's cracked, and that's the edge of the paper that needs to be tidied up. But like here as well, it's cracked all the way along, and all the colors come off it. Now that's printed on a laser printer. But if you use the thinner, cheaper, just ordinary thin plain paper, it doesn't do that as much. It's much better. Again, that was just another thing I discovered as I went along. I don't remember anybody ever telling me that or seeing that in a YouTube video. So maybe that's something I can add to the body of knowledge on MDF terrain. You could use any of these buildings for model railways, for whatever else you want. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this myself. What am I going to do with it? Put it on eBay? I haven't got enough room for it. I have in mind another project, so I'll have to do something with this. But that's my dilemma, I suppose. Overall, my review conclusion then is yes, fine for wargaming. Maybe not so good for a diorama, 1/72nd scale diorama. It's not quite detailed enough and so on. Oh, well, all the things I've already said. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll leave you there, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.